In 2009, Ryan Dahl stood on a stage at JSConf and demonstrated something that made the JavaScript community's collective jaw drop. He showed a web server that could handle thousands of simultaneous connections, not with dozens of threads, not with a massive machine, but with a single thread and a completely different approach to I/O. That demonstration introduced the world to Node.js. And within a few years, Node.js had gone from a curiosity to a platform powering production systems at LinkedIn, Netflix, Uber, and PayPal. Why did it catch on so fast? Because Node.js is not just a runtime. It's a philosophy. Every programming platform has its own set of principles, a set of guiding ideas that influence both how the platform evolves and how applications are designed. In Java, the philosophy centers on write once, run anywhere. In Python, it's there should be one obvious way to do it. In Node.js, the philosophy is different. Some of it comes directly from Ryan Dahl, the creator. Some of it is inherited from the Unix tradition, one of the oldest and most battle-tested software design philosophies in history. And some of it emerged organically from the JavaScript community itself. These principles are not rules you're required to follow. They're a source of inspiration. When you're stuck on a design decision, understanding the Node way will help you pick the right path. The next few slides will walk through the 4 core principles that define how Node.js thinks and how the best Node.js developers think. Here's a question that sounds simple but has a profound answer. What should a platform include by default? In some ecosystems, Java, .NET, Python, the standard library is enormous. Hundreds of built-in modules covering networking, cryptography, XML parsing, GUI toolkits, database drivers, and more. In Node.js, the answer was deliberately the opposite. The Node.js core is intentionally minimal. The built-in modules cover only the fundamentals: file system access, networking, streams, cryptography, child processes, and a few others. Everything else lives in what the book calls Userland, sometimes spelled userspace, which is the ecosystem of modules that live outside the core. This is not an oversight. It's a design choice with a specific goal: give the community the freedom to experiment and innovate. When a feature isn't baked into the core, multiple competing implementations can emerge. The community tries different approaches, sees what works, and the best solutions rise to the top. The NPM registry, which hosts over 1 million packages, is the direct result of this philosophy. Almost anything you need for a Node.js application exists as an NPM package. And because packages are independent, they can evolve at their own pace without waiting for a new Node.js release. There's a subtle cultural impact here too. Keeping the core small encourages developers to contribute to Userland rather than lobbying for features to be added to the platform itself. It makes the ecosystem faster moving, more diverse, and ultimately more useful. This is the small core principle. And it's the first of 4 ideas that define the Node.js philosophy. There's a set of design principles that dates back to the 1970s, formalized by the creators of Unix. 2 of those precepts are particularly relevant here. First, small is beautiful. Second, make each program do one thing well. Node.js didn't just borrow these principles. It took them to an extreme level. In Node.js, the concept of a module is the fundamental means for structuring code. And one of the most evangelized principles in the Node.js community is designing small modules, not just small in terms of file size, but small in terms of scope. Small in responsibility. Modules should do one thing, and do it well. This has produced something remarkable. The NPM registry contains packages comprising of a single module with just a couple of lines of code. The most famous example, a package called with a single function that returns whether a number is odd. That sounds absurd until you realize the principle behind it. If a package does exactly one thing, it is easier to understand and use, simpler to test and maintain, small in size and perfect for browser use. And here's where Node.js solved a problem that made this practical: the dependency hell problem. With NPM and Yarn, 2 packages can depend on different versions of the same library, each using their own private installation, no conflicts. This makes it safe to depend on a high number of small, focused packages. The result, a don't repeat yourself principle applied at a scale no previous platform had achieved. Small modules are also the reason why Node.js is one of the most reusable ecosystems ever built. Have you ever heard of the keep it simple, stupid, KISS principle? Or the idea of worse is better? Richard P. E. Gabriel, a prominent computer scientist, coined that second term to describe a counterintuitive design philosophy. His essay is called The Rise of Worse is Better, and the core argument is this: a design that is simple even if it's not perfect, even if it's missing some features, will win in the long run over a design that is complex and complete. Gabriel wrote, "The design must be simple, both in implementation and interface. It is more important for the implementation to be simple than the interface. Simplicity is the most important consideration in a design. Node.js and JavaScript embrace this completely. In Node.js, it's common to replace complex class hierarchies with simple functions and closures. Pure object-oriented designs often try to model the real world perfectly using mathematical abstractions, but the real world is messy and complex. Our software is always an approximation of reality. Getting something working sooner with reasonable complexity beats chasing near-perfect software with massive effort and tons of code to maintain. Here's a concrete consequence of this principle you'll see throughout this book. Many traditional design patterns from object-oriented languages, like singleton or decorator, can have trivial, sometimes barely recognizable implementations in Node.js. The KISS principle allows it. An uncomplicated, practical approach is preferred over a pure, flawless one. This simplicity is also facilitated by JavaScript itself. It's a pragmatic language that enables multiple paradigms, functional, object-oriented, and everything in between. Embracing Node.js means embracing this culture of pragmatism. And now that we understand the philosophy, let's open the hood and understand how Node.js actually works.